for this weekend.
Amanda doing backup duties for her husband.
It was big bad Bruno in the Holden HG, the PC freight service Holden HG. Been campaigning this car for a number of years. It's great to see him here this weekend as part of the 2025 Gulf Western Oil Nitro Champs here at Sydney Dragway.
Bruno's had this car for a long time. I can remember going to Nationals at Calder in the 90s, and it was running in super sedan with a carburetor and small block in it. So it's definitely gone through a lot of evolution, this car.
Well, Chris Denny, he's been quietly
Still pretty new to this car. He'd probably only have a season or two in it.
Yeah, well, he's quietly stepping up the performance of the car too. And I know that Amanda's been very, very pumped with the progression of the car, as has Chris. Only got a small set of tyres on the rear end of it. Out 1.10 in the 60, and Bruno running on through with a 7.04 with the 9 at 199. Chris Denny though, 7.43178. Amanda, you're doing the Toyota jump. Congratulations to the Denny team. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That is. All right, next up, we've got Toby Austin from Walls End in New South Wales, the Topster Racing and Engineering Chevrolet Camaro. I remember Toby when he used to run in Junior Dragster.
100%.
And in beside him, Anthony Bull from Bangor in New South Wales, the Shire Automotive and Mechanical Ford BA Falcon. Was very lucky to be able to interview Anthony Bull at the first round that unfortunately got washed out of the New South Wales State Championship Series. And this is another car that I've really taken a liking to because it's
still a lot of it himself.
It's got that street car appearance about it, JB.
Yep.
The Topster in the big Chevy Camaro. 521 cubes, Brad Anderson engine on board. But Anthony Bull, what can you say? He's right up there at the points. Two very good solid burnouts there. So we've got the funny car up against the sedan. Only 412 cubes of Windsor power on board for Anthony Bull. But of course this is dial your own racing, so these racers will do 3 qualifiers. Then come racing, they've got to pick that dial in, and it's interesting, JB, because obviously you race in Supergas.
Yeah, the index stays at 990 no matter if you've got 1,000 foot of air or 10,000 foot of air, so that makes it challenging in itself.
Well, too, it's going to be challenging for these races, JB, because conditions today could be completely different to
tomorrow and then completely different on Sunday.
Yeah. We're just picking that dial in, even though it's very crucial. How as a racer do you go following day?
So you go off your qualifiers if you get a qualifier the next day. And then go off weather conditions. If you've got enough laps, you'll have a log of your runs to suit them weather conditions.
Well, the Topster 668 with a 7 at 204 miles per hour. Anthony Bull with an 8.05. Toby Austin goes to number 2 qualifier with that. And Anthony Bull slots into number 7 with an 8.05 at 168. All right, Josh Fletcher from Cornubia in Queensland, the Styromax and Gulf Western Oil, and the Bulk King sponsored Sipple Dragster. Great to see the Fletcher team down here for the Nitro champs. And, of course, Paul Wood from Valentine in the PWW Builders Chevy Camaro, 540 cubes of Chev power on board. This is a great-looking car, Paul Wood's.
It really is.
Saw it for the first time a little while ago here for one of our New South Wales State Championship rounds, and certainly grabbed my attention. But Josh Fletcher, well, they've been racing supercharged outlaw dragsters for a very, very long time.
Yes, the whole Fletcher family's raced them.
Tell you what, they're very, very tough to beat.
Yes, that's for sure.
478 cubes of big block Chev on board the dragster. Chevy Camaro, 540 cube Chev. There's just something about a blow in the dragster that grabs my attention. I and the first to admit, JB, that one of my favourite classes in pro alcohol. That's my favourite Group 1 class. And of course, when I was young, growing up, you had people like Dean Oakley who was racing as well.
Absolutely.
Wayne Newby when he was running the dragster.
Yep. Wayne, of course, in Top Fuel now.
John Stig.
Yep. My favourite top alcohol car, Stewie, is Gary Phillips's Alton.
Really?
Oh, I love that car.
Love it.
Yeah. Went 549, I think, 2-3 weeks ago up at Willowbank.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, crazy. Top alcohol trim.
I wish you could.
Yeah, it's tough to try and race two top alcohol cars at the same time.
Yeah, I understand that.
Not to mention the cost.
Yes. We got Too Quick.
Maybe at Willowbank.
Yes.
At the winners. Maybe, I don't know. Don't quote. Ask Gary.
Oh, yeah. Depends on what mood Gary's in.
Gary's a good guy.
He is. Now, we got Too Quick on the live stream. He said, had you steak tonight, Stu? No, I haven't. But thank you.
What have you had tonight?
I haven't last week. We'll get back to that. 0.95 for Josh Fletcher.
104 and a 60 foot for Josh.
6.80 with an 8. I think someone's been sussing out my Facebook.
Oh. Stalker.
Oh, well, yeah. Now, Paul Wood, big spin of the tyres off the start line there. That's definitely not representative of what Paul can do in that car. But Josh Fletcher, he goes into number 3 with a 680 with an 8.
And Paul Wood, number 14th qualifier. Was he 14th? I missed it.
I think 12th or 14th, yeah. He's down at the bottom of the list so far. But Jeff Sargent, the Sargent's Roofing Chevy Camaro, 540 cubes of Keith Black on board.
This is a pretty car.
This is a great car, isn't it?
Also fettled by Grant's Performance.
And of course, Charlie Ladani in the Holden VZ Ute. This Ute has been around for a number of years. And Charlie bought the car, stripped the stickers off it, left it plain black last time I saw it.
Okay.
And,
it's got a Brad in it,
oh
521 cube Brad.
Yeah. This is another car that, I love the car when it was in with the previous owners.
Who owned it before, do you know?
I believe it was the old Craig's Automatics.
Oh, okay.
Supercharged outlaw car.
Yep.
And then they sold it. Charlie bought it, stripped the stickers off it. But this is another car that's very similar to Anthony Bull's car. It's that little street look about it.
Yep.
But obviously it's got the 521 cube Brad Anderson engine in it. Haven't seen Charlie race for a little while. So it's great to see him here at this event. But Jeff Sargent, now I've been at a couple of test days with watching this car, private test days.
Still pretty new in this car, I think, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff's
Didn't have a lot of laps on it.
he's just getting his head around.
Yeah.
know Jeff to drive.
Yep.
He's a very, very accomplished driver, but this is a different kettle of fish.
You're right, Stewie, that is the old Craig's Automatics car.
Last test day, Jeff, they brought him off behind part of the test day and just spun the tyres and just wasn't happy. But like I said, JB, you know, he's relatively new to the car.
Yep.
It's a totally different kettle of fish than what he was racing before. It's the same body style that Mark O'Leary won a round of the, or won a championship in Slammer. First of the Murray Anderson built.
I think this car's, I think Jeff's car's a Jerry Whipple car, if I'm correct. Staging lanes are jam-packed, so there's plenty coming up.
Cars sitting out the back. Alrighty, Jeff Sargent and Charlie Ladani's got problems, JB. At 1.01 the 60 for Jeff Sargent. And a 675 at 192. Sydney Dragway, put your hands together. A relatively new car. And he has absolutely crushed it. Great job, guys. That's going to give them a lot of confidence.
100%.
Unfortunately there for Charlie. Not dropping a little bit of fluid out of it by the look of it. We're about to get into modified. And what a way to kick it off, JB. Mark Bull in the Shire Automotive and Mechanical Spitzer Dragster about to take on Jess Turner in the ETS Race Fuels and Wild in Spitzer Dragster.
Both Spitzers and both small box Chev powered.
Yeah, I caught up with Jess briefly this morning on my way through the pits. She was pretty relaxed, but she was also focused and ready to go.
Yep.
Now I noticed she's running a modified dragster.
They took the gas off them.
Yeah, I'm turning the gas for a little while.
Not sure why. You'd have to ask Paul. Jess with plenty of sponsors on board. Higgins Raceheads, Kavanagh Auto Parts, Dominator Converters, Denso Spark Plugs, PTHP. What's PTHP? Is a Paul Turner horsepower? Okay. And Super Trick Diffs, Wacker's business. And Mark sponsored by Shire Performance Engines and Machining at Kirrawee.
See the Shire Automotive team up here for the Golf Western All Nitro Champs. Here we go. Jess
001 light from Jess, and a not shabby at all 026 from Mark. Jess runs it through for a 7.74 and Mark with a 7.86. Great runs from both competitors.
I'll tell you what, that's one way to
kick it off.
Yeah, throw it down to your opponents. .001 on the tree.
Yeah, straight up.
Corey Dyson coming out now in the Mobile One and Statewide Oils Mullis Dragster. Also sponsored by Glass Protect, Transcal and Associated Cold Tread Tyres. And in beside him, Joseph Zullo in the B-modified Dragster from Denham Court here in New South Wales. The JZ Holden 6 Performance, 228 cubes of Holden power on board. Also sponsored by Professionals Paradise, Realty, Casula, and Craig's Automatics. This is another class that a lot of people like because you do have the different styles of dragsters in it. Front engine dragsters are not uncommon.
We've got plenty of front engine dragsters here in Sydney.
We've got lots
during
of
our track rounds, and they go very well as well. So Corey's had a few good wins in his car recently at the Bend.
I can see one of our finishing line team down in the rocket lane. Well, they've just been given the fire up signal. So the big 400 cube Chev powered dragster of Corey Dyson roars to life. And the little 228 Holden motor from Joseph Zullo. Now, you might be thinking, if you've never seen drag racing before, you might be thinking to yourself, 6-cylinder versus V8. Well, being dial your own racing, it evens itself up, and sometimes, as you know, JB, it's not uncommon for a little 6-cylinder to knock out a big V8.
Definitely. That's the beauty of dial your own racing. It's not necessarily about the checkbook, it's more about the driver. Sharp on the tree and good on the finish line, you stand a chance against anyone. Corey up from Coolmore in Victoria, and Joseph from Denham Court. .014 light for Corey and .139 for Mr. Zullo.
Great pass there from Corey Dyson. 7.70 at 170 miles per hour.
And a 962 for Joe Zullo. Sorry, Joe. Slip of the tongue. And next we have Monique Ambrosi up from Keilor East, running in A modified dragster. And it says on our screen it's got a Holden 355 motor in it.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
No.
But Corey Dyson just jumped up the #1 qualifier after that pass. And Peter Brown in the Sims Integrated Solutions Denaro dragster. He's got 540 cubes of Chev power on board. Running also for Racemax Direct, BK Race Engines and ProTrans. Credit the team at ProTrans, they built some tough transmissions.
Absolutely.
But great to see Monique Ambrosi and of course her dad, Rob Ambrosi.
Dad at the back of the car there, guiding the back.
Yeah, I had a chat with Rob this morning.
Has he still got the funny car?
Yeah, he certainly does. They're putting an automatic in the car.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll see Rob back either at the end of the year or early next year.
Okay. Interesting way to attack it.
Yeah, a little bit different. But I'll tell you what, you want to see someone get pumped like Amanda Denny does. So I'll tell you what, Rob gets pumped. And I'll tell you what, Monique doing a fantastic job in this modified dragster. up from Keilor East in Victoria.
0.67 light for Monique and 0.40 from Pete. Pete runs it through for a 7.62 and Monique runs a 8.63. I'm going to go down and have a look if it really does have a hold motor.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Peter Brown, 7.62, puts him into number 1 qualifier so far. Monique jumps into number 5 as Brooke Rapisada comes out now from Gregory Hills in the VP Race Fuels sponsored frontage dragster. She's got 464 cubes of big block Chev on board. Of course, the Rapisada name, no strangers to drag racing. We'll see them out tomorrow for Top Fuel.
Very good looking front engine dragster, this one. Brooke from Gregory Hills in New South Wales and Bob from Miranda in New South Wales. Bob sponsored by Craig's Automatics, JZ Performance, APM and BHS Excavations.
Yeah, Bob Sinclair from Miranda, Craig's Automatics front engine dragster. He's got the Holden 6 on board as well. So if you haven't got your tickets already, guys, make sure you scan that QR code because you do not want to miss Top Fuel and Nitro Funny Car tomorrow here.
001 light from Brooke.
Well,
No one's holding back here, are they?
Absolutely not. I'll tell you what, Bob Sinclair had a little bit of an ugly launch, but an 8.13 for Brooke Rapisada.
And a 9.11 for Bob. Next we have Daniel Batdan Carranza from South Morang in Victoria in this big block Chev 615 cube power dragster. And Adriana Cartledge from Kilmore in Victoria in this 598 cube big block Chev dragster. Adriana's car's an undercover car.
And it's a very, very quick car as well for Adriana Cartledge. This car has
run a 6, I think.
It has, yeah. And of course, Daniel Carranza, better known as Bat Dan. Of course, he's a former junior dragster driver who...
So's Adriana.
Yeah, both of them got a little bit old for juniors and they've stepped up into modified. And the Penrite Oil sponsored dragster, Bat Dan, 615 cubes of big block Chev on board. And Adriana, whose car likes to get up on the rear wheels off the start line, the Pro Street Towing sponsored car, you can't miss it.
Victorian cars on the start line. 022 green for Daniel and 023 red for Adriana.
Yeah, Adriana's car just got up on those rear tyres and
Ordered to run.
Yeah, it didn't behave itself when it came back down.
713 for Batdan, 187 mile an hour. Fast car puts him in a number 1 qualifying position. And Adriana's in number 9, the 915. Not representative of that car.
Absolutely right. It's normally a little bit quicker than that. All right, we've got the first of the Roadsters coming out now. The 27 T-bucket of Lee Hartill Law, the Prestige Air and Electrical car, powered by a Ford motor, so 440 cubes of Ford power. And in beside him, Simon Barlow from Holden Hill in South Australia, the Reeds Transport, Town and Country Solar and L&H Gawler sponsored dragster. He's got 632 cubes of Chev power on board. This is one of our quicker cars.
I think this is a 6-second car too, isn't it? Barlow's one.
I'm 98% sure.
Yes, we'll find out in a minute. Comes from Holden Hill in South Australia. Imagine being a Ford guy and living at Holden Hill.
That would be a bit weird, wouldn't it? Be like an oxymoron.
That's it.
right, Lee Harthill Law. Has been campaigning this car for a number of years now. The
Been
27
around for quite a while.
Yeah, of course his mum used to race this car. Then she vacated the seat and Lee took it over.
Lee, another graduate from Junior Dragsters.
Keep your eyes on Simon Barlow. 1.88 with an 8 and a 60 for the rear engine dragster. And a 665, 204 miles per hour to an 8.08 at 161.
That is a fast modified car. Puts him in a #1 position by a long way.
And Lee Harthill Law jumps into #7 qualifier. Well, the Alligator is here this weekend. Alison Stewart in the from Queanbeyan East, the LA Racing Lubricants rear engine dragster.
Driving Jeff Wright's car. And powered 440 cube.
Still iron headed. Oh no, sorry, that's Boss Blue.
Yeah. And Danielle McCaskill in the Aeroflow lane. In the S&W dragster. Big block Chev 555 cube. Danielle, another one out of Junior Dragsters a few years ago.
Yeah, Alison Stewart doing a great job in this dragster.
She's quite the renter driver, isn't she?
Oh yeah.
She's had a few drives.
If my memory serves me correctly, I'm pretty sure this is the ex-Tim Nielsen dragster.
Oh, that's right. Jeff got rid of his car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right there.
Yeah.
Here's Tim's car.
Yeah, that's Tim's old car.
Good to see it with a Ford in it rather than a Chev.
And of course, Danielle McCaskill, Mark 1 Welding, also sponsored by the Torquay Hotel at Harvey Bay. All right, just waiting for Danielle to bump the dragster in. There we go.
016 red for Ali, and no 24 green for Danielle. Danielle runs it through for a 7:31, and Ali goes 7.71.
So Danielle jumps up into #3 qualifier. Alison jumps into #6. As we've got Anthony Rochella from Hillier in South Australia, the Just Muscle Cars 37 Chev Coupe, 584 cubes Chev power on board, and Harrison Fletcher from Hauke Inlet in Victoria, the SRP competition 27 Ford Roadster. It's got 383 small block Chev in it, but I love this car of Anthony Rochella's.
Which one?
The hot rod.
They're both hot rods. What are you talking about?
Oh, the blue one.
Yeah. Nah, good looking. Different from everything else in the class, eh?
The one with the roof.
The one with the roof. Not the Roadster.
Nah, not the Roadster. Nah, big 37 Chev Coupe. Such a cool car. It really is. Because he's sponsored by Panini Brothers Bakery, Williams Metal Fabrications, Smooth Flow Traffic Solutions, Pro Paint Panel, and Pro Painting and Maintenance.
They've got brake lights.
Certainly do. Well, 003 on the tree there for Anthony Rochella. 1.16 in the 60. That big coupe is on the march. And 888 with a 5 at 170 to an 8.90 at 146 for Harrison Fletcher. Anthony Rochella jumps up into #9 qualifier. Harrison jumps up into #13. As Chelsea Smith comes out now in the stop slow traffic control.
Up from
Dragster.
Albion Park. Sponsored by APM, Liquid Clothing, Power Crews, Tony Smash Repairs and Lucas Oil.
Yeah, great to see Tegan just guiding his sister back.
Yeah. Well, see what happens when they're both racing in modified.
Let's see.
There'll be some sibling rivalry for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, you know, I did interview them as well at one of our state champ rounds, at the first one actually, and I actually asked Chelsea, do you want to have a drive at Dad's Altered before you...
Yeah, I think he should, or she should.
She's like, yeah, I really want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Trent's doing with that. I did hear it was maybe for sale, but I'm not sure.
Well, hopefully he doesn't sell it.
No, I love that car.
So do I.
Good looking car. Chelsea gets away with a 8:46 reaction time, has a little bit of a move, stays with it, runs it through for a 7:59 at 177 mile an hour.
So Chelsea jumps up into number 4 qualifier with that 7:59. So Simon Bolo is your number 1 qualifier so far with the 6:65 with the 9. And we're getting into Super Sedan. We've got Jimmy Raptus from Camellia in New South Wales, the Go Logistics 69 Dodge Dart. Well,
426 Hemi.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what.
That's just all goodness there, isn't it?
I was just about to say, Les would be licking his lips right about now. Les Binkhurst, he says there's no car like a Mopar.
Yeah, and Peter Veralaris in the spectacular Ford XT. 636 cube Ford motor and a clutch pedal.
Yeah, how cool is that?
Yeah, so much fun to watch this car.
If you haven't seen this car before, Peter Veralaris's, don't move away from your screens. If you're up in the crowd, guys, get your phones out, because this thing is mental off the start line.
Oh, on the bumper! On the bumper again! Oh my goodness!
Sydney Dragway, tell you what, put your hands together, guys. I did say there'd be a bit of excitement.
That was spectacular, and runs it through for a 1079.
Wow.
I wonder if them headers are flat now.
Well, I did say it was an exciting car, but I didn't expect it to be that exciting. Oh man,
that got the blood pumping.
Absolutely. I tell you what, the people sitting up in the grandstand, they would have got a great view of the bottom of that car.
I think that's the highest wheel stand I've seen that do.
Well, that's the
close to being on the back bumper.
I'll tell you what, if Matt Kavanagh was here, he'd be saying that's got the 3 H's, the height and the haul.
What's the third one?
I forgot what the third one is.
Come on, Stewie.
Oh, I think it might be the hang time.
Okay,
I think.
had plenty of hang time, that's for
I
sure.
think that's what it was.
Just having a quick inspection of the track after Peter's run. Make sure nothing come off it.
I'll tell you what, that was...
Worth the price of admission alone.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to lie, JB, but for a second then, I thought that was going to end up a little bit hairy.
It was looking sketchy, wasn't it?
It was looking extremely sketchy.
How much fun's that got to be to drive?
You call that fun?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think I'd want to get back in the car. I think I'd rather strap myself into the Sainty funny car than have a drive of Peter Veralaris's Falcon just quietly. I think Peter might be getting a few heart palpitations as well after that one.
Okay, our reds are off, so we should be back into it. Aeroflow Lane, we've got Rudy Wyatt from Pine Mountain, New South Wales in his Holt VS Commodore with a small block Chev. And Chevy Taylor from Freshwater in his Chevy Bubble Top with a 409. Chevy does plenty of travelling too. I think he was at the Bend last weekend.
Yeah, and he divides his time with this car. Sometimes he runs it in super sedan, like he is at the moment. Other times he might run it in super street.
Yep.
Now, of course, he's sponsored by Tilly Motorsports Spares, and if you've been on Facebook lately, you would see that the Tillys are actually doing a lot of work at the moment on one of the ex-Dick Johnson Racing Ford Sierras.
Yep, they're heavily involved in circuit racing, the Tillys.
Yeah, unfortunately, the car had a bit of a mishap at a recent event, and the Tillys putting the car back together.
Okay.
They're from Freshwater in New South Wales. Well, actually, they're based in Brookvale, the workshop, but they're from Freshwater.
Rudy's got an interesting sponsor, Blue Dog Training.
Yeah.
Go find out what that's about.
Pine Mountain in New South Wales, VS Commodore.
Do you know where Pine Mountain is?
No, I don't. I've never
Me
heard.
too, I don't know. So many questions.
Booty White.
Burned down in qualifying. Rudy goes in, Chevy goes in. 060 for Chevy and a 038 reaction for Rudy.
Carl gets the front wheels off the deck in the big Chev, goes 10.06 at 132. Rudy White goes 9.33 at 144. As Leo Georges is about to come out now in the Flying Carrot, as it's affectionately called, the Rocky Lamartina and Sons Ford Escort panel van with 406 cubes small block Chev on board. One of our regular viewers who watches via YouTube, Panel Van Man, he absolutely loves this car of Leo Georges.
A whole lot of history with that car. Les knows a lot of history of it. Originally a Queanbeyan car. Been around the sport a long time. Not in Leo's hands, but yeah, Leo's had it a while. But yeah, gone through several owners over the probably 30 years it's been racing that car, I think.
Wow.
If not more.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dale Hartill Law in the Prestige Air and Electrical 85 Ford Mustang. 400 cubes of Ford power on board for Dale. Oh, Leo, big move to the left. 1.26 to the 60 for the panel van. Keeping up with Dale, though, I think Dale's going to get it. An 8.59 to an 8.91. This is qualifying number one for Super Sedan. And Dale Hartill Law goes to number one qualifier. Leo Georges goes into number two as Peter Felinetto from Seaford Rise in South Australia, the PBM Earth Moving XY GT, comes out and he's about to take on Robert from
Birdwood Town, Victoria.
The Sunraysia Mower Centre Pontiac GXP.
Block Chev powered 565 cube and a 598 cube engine in this XY.
Yeah, it's also got a power add-on on board.
Yes, double A. Watch for the purge, maybe.
Both sides of the racetrack, both of them in the 1.2 second zone to the 60. The BXY running on through with an 8.62 and a 9.55 there for Robert. So Peter goes into number two. Robert goes to number 6, as we've got Andrew Little about to come out now in the 67 Chev Camaro.
Andrew from Forbes and sponsored by my wife. Not my wife, his wife.
Yeah.
Racing against his brother, Michael Little. This will be a bit of bragging rights.
Well, of course, these two no strangers to racing each other. They've been racing each other for a number of years.
Both very good racers.
Absolutely. I actually caught up with Michael Little briefly this morning. First thing he said after good morning is, "Are you ready, Rocket?" I said, "Yes, I am."
Both guys super sharp on the tree.
Yeah, they certainly are. Of course, Michael Little also sponsored by Relance's tractor parts and replacements at Forbes, St Mary's Engines and Power Plus Racing Fuels. Great to see that Power Plus have really
heavily involved in the sport, eh?
They have. They've stepped up a few of the cars in Super Street, Top Fuel Street. They've got the Power Plus stickers on it. Michael Little.
031 light for Michael and a 071 for Andrew.
That's a really good launch there for Michael Little. Front wheels off the ground, a 936 with a 1 to a 967 for Andrew Little. I dare say they'd both be pretty happy with those passes. Michael Little goes to number 5 qualifier. Andrew Little goes to number 8 as Paul Hughes from Wangaratta in Victoria. The PDH Precision Engineering 65 Ford delivery.
James Barnes in a Rocket Lane. Ford Mustang. I believe James was the last up winner of last track champs round. Super sedan.
It certainly was.
I do like that delivery from Victoria. Was here last meeting. Very good looking car.
Yeah, I quite like the long roofs when it comes to drag racing. Of course, James Barnes used to drive an XW or XY.
No, it was XT.
XT that he used to race, and then
he did very well with it.
He did. Yeah, he swapped over to the Ford Mustang.
BG Engines 441 cube engine in James's car. .023 light for James and an 044 for Paul. 846 for James and a 9019 for Paul.
James Barnes goes to number 1 qualifier so far. Paul Hughes jumps into number 5. Now, Robert Cardham coming out next from Noble Park in Victoria, the Speed Pro and Dandy Engines sponsored XY Ute.
Still left the XD a day.
Luke Doughty from Paradise Point, Queensland, the Brisbane Civil Chevy Camaro. He's got a 427 cubed LS in it, which is good to see the LS represented. Now, Robert Cardham, JB, was actually building an XY Falcon Pro mod.
Oh, okay.
And he was in the process of building, but
I know he's heavily involved with Dandy Engines, so...
Yeah, well, he was building it, but I've noticed that the car was up for sale.
Okay.
And he's also got a nitrous Ford Capri, apparently.
Yep.
As well.
006 light for Robert, and a 177 for Luke.
It's an awesome car, that.
Robert runs it through for a 962 and Luke an 882.
It's a great looking car, that Chevy Camaro. Luke jumps up into number 4. Robert Cardham into number 11 as next up, I recognise this car from a mile away. Victor Sologianis from Birrong in New South Wales, the K&A Race Engines LH Tirana.
Vic 350.
Yeah.
And Tony Tedesco up from Deer Park in Victoria in his Holden Camira. Small block Chev, 400 cube. Victor's car normally does big wheel stands.
Well, he's actually got
calmed it down a bit, eh?
Well, he's got the big motor that's not too far away from potentially going into the car.
Okay.
So I most.
Tony runs at 8:62 and Victor at 9:35.
Victor Sologiannis, also sponsored by ProTrans. So yeah, he did say to me that at the moment the car is running in super sedan, but he's hoping in the future to put the big motor in it and step it up into the top sportsman.
Yep.
All right, Jack Moreau from Guandala, New South Wales, the G&M Electrical Group Ford Capri. This is the car affectionately called the Flying Grape. Co-sponsored by Power Plus Race Fuels, CNW at Morisset and West End Performance. It's taken on Rex Webster from Madawi, the 48 Austin A40 Ute. It's got 540 cubes of Chev power on board. I don't know how they fit a 540 cube Chev in the front of the Austin, but
Rex found a way, and there's not much cabin room in these little cars either. Incidentally, Rex built all this car by himself. All fabricated by Rex.
It's a cool little car.
Super cool little car. Light for Jack and at 055. For Rex, a lot of black smoke coming out of Jack's car.
Yeah, it's running pretty rich. And an 883 at 150 for Jack Moreau. And a 963 at 140 for Rex. Now we're talking about wily veterans when it comes to drag racing, JB.
David Gruber's been doing it forever.
I was actually looking more at the car next to him.
Oh, Jim, yeah. Yeah, both guys have been running for a long, long time. And both very, very good racers.
David Gruber in the strip rat. Jim Denaro, Mr. Consistent in the Denaro chassis and double AP performance automatics. Ford Cortina.
047 light for Jim and 061 for Dave.
Dave Gruber, the big move to the right, just past 60 foot in the little Tirana, and a 931 at 144 to a 928 at a 145. As we've got the St. Mary's Race Engines Valiant coming out next, Brett McNiff. Now, that's one name I didn't see in junior race. This one was the big
No, I thought his son was in it. Can't recall seeing him run.
And Nathan Cowie in one of the coolest cars in not just super sedan but Australian drag racing as a whole, the little Suzuki Mighty Boy.
The small block Chevy, you're talking about Rex shoving that big motor in the Austin.
Well, yeah, you got a point there, JB. I'll pay that one.
Not much room in the Mighty Boy.
No. And it's got a big set of tyres in the rear end of it too. Of course, Brett McNiff, he's been running this Valiant for a very long time, and of course his dad used to run Valiant.
Yeah, absolutely.
And his
mum
dad
as well.
racing.
My mum raced a 40. I don't know what happened to Nathan there, but he didn't leave.
No, but I'll tell you what, Brett McNiff got a little bit of attitude off the start line, and an 896 with 3 at 148. But not sure what happened there.
Unusual for Nathan's car to make the pass.
Very unusual.
Normally super reliable. Pushing it away, that's no good.
So Brett McNiff with an 896 puts him into number 8 qualifier so far.
Next we have Sean Marr in the Aeroflow lane, another one of our local racers that goes very well.
Reigning national champion as
Reigning
well.
national champion, he's got the number 1 on the car. HP Tirana with a small block Chev 414 cube.
We've got Dinos Stephanopoulos from Roddleton in South Australia. The Moss Refrigerated Transport TC Cortina, also sponsored by RPM Racing and SPH Engineering.
Had a little wipe up on the start line there after Nathan's car, so must have spilled a little something. possibly fuel. They've cleaned it up pretty fast.
Sean Barr here this weekend for the 2025 Gulf Western All Nitro Champs here at Sydney Dragway. Of course, reigning national champion, and there's good reason for that too. He's super sharp on the lights, but most of all, super consistent.
Two things you need to win in Dyer Own. They both go red, 006 for Dimos and 002 for Sean, so they're both having a crack. Next we have Naomi Dyson with Team Gringo on the start line. And Louis Palumbo in the rocket lane.
Yeah, it's also great to see my friend Chris Castiglione down there as well. G'day, Chris.
I can see the two Team Gringo crew members there, Jose and Hose B. Jose sitting on the fence and Hose B standing next to him.
Yeah, Naomi Dyson, the B&S Waterproofing and Penrite Pontiac Firebird, former junior dragster racer.
Last pair for Super Sedan.
Yeah. Of course, got into this car, ran Super Gas for a little while.
A little bit. Ran that Nostalgia Pro Stock thing at Day of the Drags.
Yeah.
Has been in Super Sedan for quite a while now.
Yeah, that's right. So, Lou Palumbo, Big HX.
069 light for Naomi and 027 light for Louis. Naomi runs it through for a 907 and 926 for Louis.
Right, we're about to get into Super Gas, which is a class that you are extremely familiar with.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of FOMO going on at the moment.
You are a competitor.
I'm sitting up here doing this instead of being down there racing. I'm not happy.
Yeah, I can see that. You're right.
But anyway, circumstance, what do you do? So in the left lane, we've got Anthony Panetta in the Holden Calibra with a 454 cube small block shed. And Roy Romeo in the Rocket Lane with a 350 cube VP Commodore. Both cars with plenty of history. 033 light for Roy and 021 for Anthony. And Tony goes under with a 989 with a 1.
So if you're not familiar with Super Gas, ladies and gentlemen, it is no deep staging.
Yeah, deep stage will turn the light red.
No deep staging, and it's off a Pro tree.
Yep. So yeah, you got to be sharp.
And you can't go quicker than 9.90.
Yeah, fixed index, so yeah, you can't change the number on your window when the conditions change. So we've got Luke Romeo in the Aeroflow lane in the 27 Roadster and Daryl Stephen in the Ford Telstar with a 427 cube Windsor in it. Plenty of tail light on the Roadster.
Certainly can't miss it.
061 for Daryl and a 015 for Luke. They don't call him Lethal Luke for nothing. He is sharp on the tree. Luke runs it through for a 9.93 and Daryl with a 9.95.
The Romeo team, they are pretty happy with that pass. Next up, we've got Vince Panetta from Narrowena, sponsored by A Civil and In Motion Automotives in the LX Tirana, about to take on Joe Catanzariti.
And his sponsor is Would Like One.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah, the Pontiac Firebird.
So yeah, Vinny's had this car a long time.
I must admit though, I do miss Joe's old Tirana.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, someone's got that here in Sydney. I can't remember who.
Oh, okay.
Vince is also known as the Italian Stallion.
I
in the super gas circles.
I can see why.
Yeah, he is quite the man. And everyone knows Joe as Kansas. 0.24 for Vincent, 0.31 for Joe.
So you'll notice the car's running throttle stop on them.
Yep. 9.85 under for Vincent, 9.89 under, 9.89 with the 2, so 8 thou under for Joe. So both a little bit too quick for the index.
Now you're talking about famous cars that are here this weekend. They don't get much more famous, do they, JB, than Nicholas Polito's Ford Pro?
Definitely not.
This is another car that ran at the Nostalgia Pro Stock.
Yeah, that was a good bracket. I enjoyed that. Hopefully that'll grow a little bit.
And Brody Tedesco coming out in this really beautifully presented Holden Gemini with
Up
a 400 cube Chev in it.
Deer Park in Victoria. I think Brody's been running a little bit of super gas at the Bend, I think. But yeah, Tricky Nicky driving Dad and Granddad's car. Third generation driver in that car. .018 for Nicholas and 0.57 for Brody. See what they do at the other end.
There's not much between them at the finishing line. And
both guys go under.
Way under.
Yeah, 9.83 for Brody and 9.87 for Nicholas. But that gives you a baseline for tomorrow.
It certainly does. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up day one of the Gulf Western Oil Nitro Champs here at Sydney Dragway. We'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't got your tickets yet, make sure you scan the QR code. Get your tickets, because tomorrow we've got the big guns out. Top Fuel Dragsters and the Top Fuel Funny Cars will be out tomorrow, as well as the rest of our